can be only one podcast, and may it be, oh, forget it. This is the 4th time, and the final time I'm recording this. I'm done. I am so done after this. Not going to do I'm going to skip the podcast completely. My voice is, at this point, gone. I'm going to try to rustle it through. I thought about getting some hot tea or something real quick, but nothing's going to save my voice at this point. It's been, 2 hours trying to get this 30-minute podcast done. All right, short and skinny of it. Bruce can't be here. This is one we had planned with Bruce a while back. He promised he could make it. Past few weeks he couldn't. Looks like he's not going to. I watched good movies. I watched crappy movies, and we wanted to do a little mini movie review of all these movies that we couldn't do a 30-minute episode on, but could kind of comment on all together. Kind of like our nerd news update. And so I gave up hope. I came up here starting this afternoon to do this stupid podcast. Then the girls got bored. Their mom sent them upstairs. And so then, of course, they were making noise and talking. So I then had to stop. All right, that's all right, because those things happen. Next time I do it, okay? Solid podcast. The software messed up. And there were blanks every minute. There'd be a 10-second wait or something in between me talking. It didn't record. It was really weird. So reset everything, got back, did it again. Someone is blowing up my phone. And it was, I guess, not that important, but someone was without a phone, which is why I had to answer it. I had a guest over, and he didn't have his phone, and that was his mom, so I had to talk to his mom. And then it threw everything off because it was terrible. It was just terrible. I was maybe halfway through at that point, but I'd lost my entire train of thought. Could not remember where to pick up. Didn't feel like starting back. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just do it again. Because why not? Because I'd been on the phone with his mom for way longer than I thought I would. But oh well. So here we are, talking about 4 movies. Oh, by the way, the reason Wes couldn't do this, Wes has not seen the movies. I asked him if he had. He hadn't. I do not want him to sit through 2 of them because I think they're not that good, not worth sitting through. I didn't want to sit through one of them, but because Bruce really wanted to talk about it, I was like, sure, I'll sit through it. Let me see. First 2 times I did random movies. I just attacked these randomly. I didn't care, just to kind of mix it up. The second time I did it. The last time I did it, I liked the way I was doing it through the order that I watched it, and that seemed to be better. So that's the way I'm going to keep it for this one. And again, if this one falls through for whatever reason, the apocalypse happens or zombies start, breaking, zombie Geddon happens, I guess, then I'll stop forever. I won't even bother recording this one. But it seems to be cursed now. Cursed, I tell you. Cursed to some of these movies. But I'm going to talk about each one of these movies, take about, 5-10 minutes on each one. Should be able to cover all 4 in under the 30 minutes. Heck, I've done it twice already. Why not go for number 3? Now, the only thing is keeping this fresh. Whew, don't know how much I can say. I hate repeating myself, especially on a podcast. You want to make it sound new. That's why we don't talk about the subject. We know the subject, but we never discuss the subject prior to a podcast. It's always been a rule. We never talk about it. We're ready to go. That's why we have fresh perspectives. We, have questions going on. There may be some things like, hey, I wanted to talk about this. Okay, well, I'll definitely point that out when it's your turn to talk about that story or whatnot. But other than that, we don't discuss points, the talking points and whatnot. We just go in there fresh. So, don't know where I was going with that, but here I go. Going in fresh, I guess, without trying to repeat myself a billion times again. But how much can you say about the same thing? Matrix Resurrections was the first one. I did not see it in theaters, saw it when it streamed on HBO Max. If you were to ask me at the first of 2021, what movies I'd be most excited about, Matrix 4 was number 2, only to John Wick 4. That was supposed to come out last year too. And I was excited because the Matrix movies were fun. The first one is the best by far. Second one is really good. The architect at the end, really dumb. And the clubbing scene, the futuristic, they're in a nightclub all of a sudden. Makes 0 sense. Super stupid. But other than that, the CGI hasn't aged well for the playground fight, but still, I love it. I love the second one. I think the second one's really good. Not as good as the first. And then the third one, definitely the worst of the 3. but has some decent moments here and there. Oh boy, Resurrections makes 3 look like a masterpiece. Now I know the story about how this got made. Supposedly the studio said, "Hey, we're going to make this movie without you, Wachowski, or with you." And Wachowski was like, "Okay, well, we'll make it with me." And then a lot of people said, "Well, you know what? Wachowski did this on purpose." Laura Wachowski is the name now that they're going by. But anyway, they said, "Oh, Laura Wachowski, deep sixed it on purpose, so the studio wouldn't make another one." Okay, that sounds stupid because their career as a director is probably hurt either way, right? If they did it on purpose, then who's going to trust them with their movie? If they have a bad attitude, they'll just deep six your movie too. And then if they make a bad movie, well, if that doesn't make any money, which is what Matrix Resurrections did, bombed, supposedly on both platforms. I don't know, but I've heard it lost lots of money. That's from multiple reports, not just haters. But and so, did they make a stinker on purpose? I mean, it doesn't make sense because then if they thought it was good, and people are going to go, "Ooh, you think that's what's good?" That's going to hurt them getting jobs. I would say, I would think so. So that Lana Wachowski ditched this on purpose? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that they thought they made a great movie and they're very proud. I mean, all the interviews they're saying it's great, right? So it's terrible. It's terrible. And the thing is, it had so much promise at the beginning, and spoilers for everything, by the way, spoilers for all 4 of these movies. I usually generally wait a month after they come out to do this, and I saw a movie today that by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be close to a month. So I'm going to go ahead and say spoilers on that too, but spoilers on all this. But the thing is, though, this one The Matrix is a video game, or was, in this fake world that Neo's now re-implemented in. And I remember seeing the trailer for this and thinking, okay, I don't know why they're back alive, but I'm sure they have an explanation for this. I'll be interested because I like Keanu Reeves, which is why I'm interested. And they explained why he came back and how he came back to life. And okay, I'll buy it. It's not too far fetched. They said the architect, it's Doogie Howser playing someone else called the Maestro or something. I don't know what it is. Some other name, talking about how the architect did it wrong. He's got it right because he's doing little different things here. Interesting. Another interesting point there. But at the beginning, it's like, okay, Neo works for a video game company, and he designed the Matrix video games, 1, 2, and 3. And the company wants to make a reboot of the Matrix video games. And then all the Wachowski humor goes into, hey, here's what the production company or the movie studio and me discussed, and how stupid movie studios are. Because the video game industry, we need this, we need that, we need to reboot. It's going to be fresh, like Hollywood thinks. It was all inside humor, really funny stuff, making fun of itself, making fun of the Matrix, making fun of reboots in general. Reboots are basically just, we need to copy the success of the first one, but just add special thing. Make make it a girl this time. Make it and I mean, it's spot on. All that was spot on. I was like, oh, this is hilarious. They're going to do something completely different. That's what I thought. I watching it from the very beginning, I had high hopes. I was like, this is going to be pretty good. And then nothing for the rest of the movie. It was all generic, the same generic reboot crap you get, the same story from the first one with little additives from 2 and 3 put in, and it's just that story, retold, regurgitated. I mean, of course, Trinity is the chosen one now. There's a dumb scene where Neo thinks he can fly, but he can't, and so he's falling. He believes in himself this time. He's tried to fly several times, but this is the time he's going to do it, and he doesn't. But then he and Trinity are hand in hand together. They will fly. They jump off the building. Trinity, it's not working for Neo. Then suddenly, he's floating above the city, and he's holding on to Trinity, who's holding him up. She's above him. And then, as he's hanging on to Trinity's hand, he looks up at her and he went, "It's not me, it's you." Well, yeah, we see that she's floating and you're kind of hanging on to her hand. What, is the audience that stupid not to see that? You're not flying at all. You're flailing and she's kind of got you by the hand and she's above you. I think she is horizontal and he's vertical. What else were we supposed to think? Were we supposed to think that it was Neo the whole time making magic happen? And then it ends the exact same way. They threaten instead of threatening the Agent Smiths, they threaten the new Doogie Howser, and then they fly off to a new version of the Rage Against the Machine song that sucked. That sucked. The cover song did. Oh my gosh, cover band, whoever it was. Um, beat for beat, everything that they made fun of at the beginning, they just regurgitate, and that's why people say, well, Lana Wachowski did it on purpose so they wouldn't make any more. So they end the series. Wow. So Lana Wachowski deep sixed any chance of being a director for anything in the future, just so they wouldn't make any more Matrix movies. I don't believe that. I don't believe that in a heartbeat. Um, why Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in it is really dumb because they have Naomi. Her character survived to be older. Why wouldn't Morpheus? Why couldn't Morpheus be? Lawrence Fishburne said I was never invited back. I was like, why not? You're right in there. You should have been he would have been a great old leader instead of Naomi from the third movie. If she was in the second movie, I don't remember. I was like, that's kind of stupid. And then they try to replace Agent Smith with a new actor. I don't know why. The Agent Smith program is tied to Neo in whatever way, and I like that idea. But why not it be Agent Smith? I mean, if Neo has aged in the Matrix, Agent Smith just says he ages himself because he is Neo's nemesis, and so he's on equal footing. So he's aged himself, which could explain why the actor. Now maybe there's a scheduling conflict or something with him. I don't know, but you should have waited because Agent Smith is the arch nemesis of the trilogy. I mean, you got to have him back. Some other guy trying to play him? No, no. Didn't like the movie. Really sad because I love Keanu Reeves. The only good thing about it is now Matrix 3 is not the worst Matrix movie. That's the only good thing I can see about it. So Matrix Resurrections, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to a good one here. Another movie I saw last year was Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think his name is Ivan Reitman. I think it was. The Egon's son in real life. And he's the only one who could have made this because he brought his dad back in ghost form, which everyone else would have called it classless. But when the son does it to his dad actor, that's great. And it was a love letter in a way to say goodbye because in the movie, Egon's daughter felt estranged, which I'm sure the son didn't, but he just made up that story because that's good old Hollywood. Estranged daughter, and she gets comforted that her dad loved her all the same, and she said goodbye. She says goodbye to her dad as a ghost at the end. Spoilers, remember. And it could be Ivan Reitman saying goodbye to his dad too. Either way, very nice. That's how he got Bill Murray into it. Bill Murray agreed to do it, probably because it was his son. Bill Murray's been the big holdout. I don't think there's been any secret about that. And it was good. It was good. Sadly, no one saw it. Didn't make money either, so it's probably not getting a sequel. I have an idea, but for what they could do with it, with the franchise. Talk to Ghostbuster fans. They're like, yeah, it was okay. They're like, yeah, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was okay. They want to see the 4 original Ghostbusters. Okay, that was not going to happen once Egon died, and they all knew that. But what they got was really amazing, especially after they got that awful reboot, and it looked like they were never going to get the originals back ever again. They did. They come in at the end, sure, for a little adventure. But remember, Bill Murray is done being a Ghostbuster. Okay, he's done playing that character. It's fun to see him. Sigourney Weaver's in a after the credits scene, which is I heard was supposed to be in the movie, but got cut. So that's why it got put in the middle or in the middle of the credits. Either way, fun to see everyone. Rick Moranis is officially retired, has been for decades, maybe, and is not coming back, which is sad, but it would have been nice to see him, but oh well. Either way, though, the kids were not annoying. They were actually pretty good. It's a fun film. I enjoyed it. My wife, she loved it better than the new Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, No Way Home, whatever it's called. Home Part 3. All right. I don't. Spider-Man's way better. But Ghostbusters Afterlife, probably number 2. I only saw 3 movies last year, and the third one sucked. So, but I think it would have held up its own. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the kids weren't annoying. Seeing the Ghostbusters at the end was fun. I did not realize that the actress Ann Potts was the same lady who played the grandmother in Young Sheldon. I watched Young Sheldon. I guess I just never saw her name in the credits, or else I would have caught that. I'm not a true Ghostbuster fan. But when I saw the grandmother in the movie dressed as Janice from the Ghostbusters movies. I went, wait a minute, was she Janice or Janice or whatever her name is? And so I looked it up. I was like, no way, she was. I didn't even recognize her. But it was really fun. At the end, they set it up for a sequel. I think what's his name? Ernie Hudson. He's super rich now. He's the successful Ghostbuster. He takes the Ecto-1 from the kids. He buys the firehouse in New York again and moves the car in. Oh, fun! Best one of the best jokes. There's several good jokes in the movie, but one of them was when they said, "Yeah, we used to sit up in the old firehouse." Oh, Dan Aykroyd says this. He went, "Yeah, we used to be set up in the firehouse. It's a Starbucks now." And in real life, it is a Starbucks in New York. My brother showed it to me. The place where they filmed the original Ghostbusters is a Starbucks coffee. So I guess Aaron Hudson bought out the Starbucks. I don't know what happened there, but now he owns this run, and it's run down again. It's a firehouse again. So I guess they didn't change much from Starbucks. Either way, though, I mean, little continuity error, I guess I just pointed out in the movie, but it looks like he's ready to start the Ghostbusters up again. In fact, he and um, uh, Janice talk about it. Janice, I think, talk about it at the very end. It's like the stinger. Like, what's he going to do now? We'll see. And they're setting up for sequels. Now, the thing is, I think Bill Murray's out completely. He's never coming back. Give up on him. Start back with Ernie Hudson. Dan Aykroyd's definitely in. And have them, look at this, watch this, streaming. Everyone wants a streaming show. Cobra Kai's big right now. Go with TV now. Go streaming. I don't know who gets the streaming rights to Ghostbusters. I'm thinking Paramount Plus. And they should salivate over a show like this because Ernie Hudson, not doing much. We can probably get him for a good amount. Dan Aykroyd probably won't want that much either since he's not doing that much. So you can get both two originals for the price of none, hardly. And then Ann Potts would definitely join in. So you got three originals you can go with. Maybe Sigourney Weaver can come in for a story arc or two. Maybe, just maybe you can pull Bill Murray, but doubtful. Either way, though, you could do some exciting stuff. All right. By the way, rehashing the reboot of Zool coming back, I thought was a little weak, but of course it is a reboot, and you got to follow the reboot formula, which is have the original villain come back in some way, shape, fashion, or form in the new reboot. But anyway, you do a streaming thing where he's hiring, training new Ghostbusters this whole time, and then at the end we find out there's a new big baddie. Season 1, boom, done like that. Season 2, they're fighting the big baddie, trying to figure out what to do, and in the end, the whatever big bad ghost finds its host. It is Dan Aykroyd. Oh no! Former Ghostbuster was part of the team, leading the team, and who says there has to be 4? Maybe there's more. I don't care what gender or nationality you make them, just make them interesting characters. But now Dan Aykroyd is the bad guy now. And so in season 3, it's almost like Ernie Hudson versus Dan Aykroyd. Maybe Dan Aykroyd puts together some ghosts with jetpack or, possess people with packs that can hurt humans or trap humans. I don't know. And that's season 3 where they're fighting off to a duel between the two of them. And I don't know how many seasons you want this to go, preferably not that many. That season 3 may be it. You could go on forever talking about different ghosts and maybe resolve that in season 3 and then go with a new storyline in season 4. Who knows? And introduce more characters, more Ghostbusters. Or different, you could, if it's successful, spin off some of the Ghostbusters, into Ghostbusters Inc. I don't know. I think it could turn into a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot of stories to tell from a streaming point of view and taken up by someone who's very creative. I think they can make that happen. I hope they do. I don't know what Ghostbusters fans think about that, but I talked to Matthew the Geeks at it, and he seemed to be like, yes, that'd be an idea. I mean, I'd watch it. I'd watch it. But Ghostbusters Afterlife, if you skipped it like everyone else did, and you remember the Ghostbusters, you like the Ghostbusters, you're thinking, no, those kids look annoying. They weren't. They weren't. It was actually pretty good. Paul Rudd was fun in it too. Everything was pretty fun. I had no problem with this. I had no problem with this movie. I thought it was fun. So Ghostbusters Afterlife, pretty good film. My wife's favorite from last year. She may have seen more movies than me. I can't remember. She likes to go into the movie theater more than I do. The next one that I saw for this podcast that I regret, Eternals. It's 2.5 hours long. That was my first regret when I saw that. And let me sum up Eternals. If Marvel wanted to try to rip off DC and do a terrible job of it, bravo, they did it. Eternals. Is there a soul out there who thought Eternals was a good movie? It's a Justice League ripoff and a lame one too. I mean, they're all faceless. I mean, all based off what, Greek mythology, Icarus and Sprite and whatnot. Okay, I get it, but they're boring as all get out. You don't care about any of them, and it's just, I mean, even Wakiti, whatever's character, yeah, he has the funny jokes, but to be honest, who cares, right? And even though it takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they mention Thanos and other superheroes. Weird that they mentioned Superman too. Like they make a Superman joke. I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of dumb. But it's terrible all around. There's so many boring parts that just drag, and it opens up a lot of continuity questions. If there was a Celestial making his way out of the planet to destroy Earth at any minute now, don't you think a few other Avengers or Doctor Strange or someone else would show up to help them? Captain Marvel, maybe? I don't know. You can't tell me a Celestial was peeking his head out, had his hand or took both hands, one arm coming up, some fingers coming up, and no one thought to come to this center point. They could have found it easily. It's just really weird. and they don't have any cameos from. It's like every other Marvel person read the script and went, "Oh, I don't want to do a cameo on this. I'm exercising my right as an actor to say no, my veto power," because they didn't have anyone see them. The stingers at the end of the credits. There's one mid credits, end credits. Dumb, pointless. You don't care, and I mean, it is really, really awful. Beyond awful. Now, I've been disenchanted with Marvel since Doctor Strange. Did not like Doctor Strange, and there's been several others I don't like. Captain Marvel, Black Panther. I mean, gosh, Black Widow. Any of the ones that have come out since then. Shang-Chi wasn't that. I mean, Shang-Chi's probably the best out of all the ones I just mentioned, but even that was just really flawed. So there hasn't been a solid, I mean, unless I'm mistaking one, there hasn't been a solid hit yet from them. I'm interested in watching more. I think their TV shows are good, but gosh, they are just terrible when it comes to movies. Just horrible, horrible. In fact, um, not good. Not worth watching in any way, shape, fashion, or form. I hope they never make any more. I heard it didn't make any money. I hope that's true. I hope they bury the Eternals forever, for eternity. There you go. I bet no one said that pun before. All right, so last movie I saw, and it's a good one. Just saw it. Scream 5, or whatever they want to call it. Scream: The New Frontier. Um, Scream 5, good, fun. I enjoyed it. It also it kind of breaks down the formula of Scream movies. Of course, it kind of looks at the scary movie genre and puts it on its ear. This time the focus was on it, kind of a touchy subject, but they wrestled it okay. Um, it was a reboots. Why do reboots suck? Why are people, because Stab is the movies in the Scream universe, Stab 8 or whatever it is. It sucked. It sucked. People hated Stab 8. It was a reboot and nothing was original, and no one likes a soft reboot, and they're telling why. I thought that was pretty good. And they remember, spoilers here, they kill off Dewey, which I told my wife the moment Dewey gets on the phone with Sidney Prescott and says, "Hey, it's happening again, but no matter what happens, do not come back." And she went, "Don't worry, I'm never stepping foot in that town again." And then, of course, I said, well, the only thing that'll bring her back would be Dewey's death. And so I tell her that. I tell my wife that. Sure enough, Dewey dies. Epic death. By the way, very violent. Probably the most violent Scream to date. By far. By far the most violent deaths and everything. They bring back a lot of people. Of course, they're talking about good reboots tied to the original. And they involve the children because it's a legacy, is what you're going for. Which is true. All reboots are like that. So every kid there is related to someone from the original movie or a previous movie. Billy Loomis, they CGI Skeet Ulrich as the young Billy Loomis again. He's haunting one of the girls. which girl is he haunting or is she seeing in her psyche? It's his illegitimate daughter. Great story. Great story. Loved it. Like that. Liked just about everything. I got the second person wrong, and my wife guessed one because they said it's always the boyfriend. And everyone started laughing, and it turned out to be the boyfriend was one of the killers. My wife thought they're gonna tie back to the original. It's gonna be the boyfriend this time. And you think about it, they haven't done the boyfriend since the first one, right? So why not go back to it since it's the ultimate red herring now for Scream fans? Smart. Smart. I liked it. That was really smart. So the other one was a throwaway one, like you really don't know. She bought Stu's house. Her family did, and so she's psycho altogether. It's kind of like Scream 2, the cameraman guy. Why is he in it? Because he's psycho. I mean, that's basically all they could say. So kind of weak sauce on that. But there's always two. Again, I'd love to see where there's maybe three. Maybe next time they won't do one, but or maybe they would do one and make you think there's a second one, which there isn't. Um, Either way, though, if they did three, that'd be a nice switch. But they did two, and they're back in Stu's house at the end. They kind of hide that a little bit with some close shots, but my wife called it again. She said they're in the old house. And the first one, it's similar. I don't know if it's the same one because they never said it was Stu's house. No, that's a big reveal later on when Sidney Prescott tracks the kids and without them knowing, she sees what address they stopped at, and she goes, "Oh no!" And it's Stu's old house where the original happened. And she goes back into the house where the first killings happened. Cool. That's neat. That's neat. Um, of course, they had to break down Gale and Dewey again because this is the third movie they've done it for, which is getting very old at that point. It gets very old. And the excuses and the banter. But that Dewey died, oh well. Now, my wife was like, are they going to kill off Gale Weathers? No. But if they did, that would have surprised me. But they're not going to kill her off. They had a lot of fun with it. Um, the lead gets the kill. Sidney gets a kill. Everyone's happy all around. Um, and I don't know. I mean, there's some good stuff in it. Great stuff in it. Like I said, Dewey's death is good. At the end, though, this is the part where a lot of people are going to be a little upset with this movie. I think because they talk about and it's I think it's done. I thought it was done in good taste. But how fans are outraged about reboots these days. They don't honor the original. You got to honor the original. And he goes, these aren't toxic fans. They're passionate fans, is what he says. Okay, so it's a passionate fan who is the killer. And he goes, so we got to do this for the fans. And it's tongue in cheek. I don't think at all it's making fun of toxic fandom because he says they're not toxic fans. We're passionate. You're not well, of course they're killing. So, but I felt like it was done, good because they didn't. Besides saying that, we hate the word toxic. We're just passionate. They want, people want and even the main cast was talking about what's the problems with reboots and why reboots don't use the original stuff and why don't they a good reboot has to have this, this, and that. But today they want to put this in. They want to put politics in there. They say that. So it was walking the line so as no one could get mad. He didn't totally put the toxic fans in a bad light. But he didn't put them in a good light either. Kind of in the shade a little bit. I don't know. Some people may really hate that. They may take it a different way. But I took it like, okay, that was kind of lightly talking about it. And but the thing is, watching this movie, it falls for the same tropes that every scary movie does these days. And I was like, oh no, Scream, you are one of the main jokes because now the high school, guess what, folks? Super diverse. Super diverse. Only one white person. Well, two white people in the cast. But one in high school. Only one white. You can only have one token white guy now. Everyone else must be Indian, Asian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, black, whatever. Just pick the colors of the rainbow, dip them out, put them in because we only can have one white dude. That's what the new movie standard is. And then on top of that, one of them must be gay. One of them must be gay, and that person may not be killed. Can't kill the gay person. All right. Now, here's what I'd love for them to do. He won't. It'd be super bold and super different. Is to make fun of that. Make fun of that. That Hollywood is about checks and balances, want to have a completely diverse high school, and maybe have a bunch of white kids, but only two kids who are different colors, and they're gay. And then have the white kids, have the gay couple talk about how, hey, we're going to survive because we're gay. No one kills us off. We make it to the end. And by the way, there's too many white dudes. Like there's too many white dudes in our school. We need to get more friends. You can make jokes out of this. You can make jokes out of how white the cast is or how more white the cast is. Maybe you can keep having different, people in there. Oh, make them a lot of males, because this is we need to have more female friends too. You can say that too. Or maybe the two gay couple are girls, and they're like, this is why we're gay because a bunch of you white guys, it'd be great, it'd be fun. All right, and then at the end, guess who's the killer? Damn, they're the killer. And maybe it's Sidney Prescott who's got to come back. Maybe they kill Gail Weathers too, in this one just to kind of get another hard hit in there. But then they say, hey, you can't kill us. It's a hate crime. If you kill me. And she's like, oh, cancel me, and shoots him. So, kind of lightly making fun of cancel culture and making fun of, but kind of blowing up the whole, this is what a horror movie, these are what movies are these days. The gay person always has to survive, and you must have a very diverse cast. Wouldn't it would be awesome if he could do that, because that's truthfully what all horror movies are today, or most movies, period, are today. But if he did it, it'd be really good. I think it'd be really good. And that he did this one tastefully, the writer did, I think they could do it again. But who knows? That's up to them. Scream 5, I enjoyed it. Go out and see it. Right now, movie of the year. How many movies I've seen this year? 1, as of this podcast. All right, folks. I think I got this in the bag. I'm done. So no jinxes happen in the last few seconds here. I'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe. Ooh, my voice is dead.